Hello YouTube. So today, one of the questions we get a lot is, can you install a front camera on a Subaru Forester or another Subaru vehicle that has the MFD display? The answer is yes. We've been making the modifications to this unit as a test, and so I wanted to kind of give you an update and let you know what we had to do to get this to display, and just give you an idea of what all's going on here. So Subaru did not include some of the components needed to turn on the camera input, the front camera input. So there's some components on the board that were not populated when they built these MFD displays. And so here's just a basic circuit of what we have here. And so these two capacitors and this diode were not mounted onto the board, at least for this model year. It's possible that some Subarus have these components built in, they just need the wiring. We don't know exactly what models they've done it with, but I know that some models from cars that were sold overseas did have these components, and they have the slots for them on the board, but they weren't installed. And so this applies, the same circuit essentially applies to both the front camera and there's a side camera input also. And so what we have is there's a 24-pin connector that goes into the car, which is where the view switch connects. And so we have a view switch that would be in vehicles that were provided from the factory with an OEM camera. And so these two capacitors are not surface mounted to the board, and this diode is not mounted. But there's a resistor here that feeds into the logic circuit. And that resistor is already there. So all we had to do is mount this blocking diode. We used a Schottky diode for that. And then these two capacitors, since I don't love surface mount soldering, I opted to not install the capacitors in the surface mount positions on the board. I just did it in the wiring. And so if you look at where these green wires here are for the view switch. And so what I did is we took those, where it is, right here. So what I did here is I put the capacitor in line, since it's essentially in parallel with the view switch. So I ran a capacitor in line in parallel with the view switch coming out of the MFD. And before we send this to the customer, I'll solder this up and I'll get it connected and cleaned up so that it's not sitting there with voltage on it. But basically, we had to add the surface mount components to the board, and then we provided wiring that has connection for the front camera power, and then this is our equivalent to a view switch. And so you can tap it to toggle between the MFD display and to show the front camera. So anyway, if you have any questions or if you need help with wiring, I'll put a link in the description to the information page for this adapter. We can also make arrangements to help with surface mount soldering, since I expect many of you are not interested in doing the surface mount soldering yourself. We also have other adapters for this kind of thing. We have a FRAC adapter, which allows you to use the reverse camera input. So these 2023 Foresters also have a reverse camera that displays on the main head unit. So in order to display a camera on there, we can also kind of hijack the reverse camera input, and we make a FRAC adapter for that, which allows you to display the front or rear camera on demand with a switch, so that you can display those cameras whenever you'd like. It's a circuit board, and I can link in the description of that also. We also have, for older model Subarus that have the other display, we can update to the newer style of display. And so we've installed these more updated MFD displays in like a 2015 WRX or a 2015 Forester. We could do the front camera with that too. You just have to email us. Anyway, feel free to contact us at inquiry@autoharnesshouse.com, or check out the website which is autoharnesshouse.com. Leave me a like or subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your feedback, or if you have any questions on any of the stuff here. All right, well, take care, guys. Thanks for watching.